It's the 1st of November 1922, and a man named Hugh Balance is taking a walk along the Margate Beach. By every standard, it's a completely normal day. That is, until Mr. Balance notices something strange in the water. About 1,300 yards from the shore, Hugh Balance sees what he believes to be two whales fighting a large creature. While whales may be the largest thing in the ocean, this beast seemed larger than both of them. Amazed by the sight, the man quickly retrieved his glasses, and the scene became more clearer, but also more confusing. The creature now looked like a polar bear. However, it was larger than an average polar bear. During the fight, the creature rose up to 20 feet out of the water multiple times, repeatedly striking the whales with a part of its body that looked like a tail. The strange sight soon attracted more people, and eventually a crowd stood on the beach, enamored by the battle that was going on in the water. The fight lasted for about 3 hours, and then all three creatures disappeared from the sight of the onlookers. While Hugh Balance was amazed by what he had just seen, at the time he didn't realize that later that very evening he would get a chance to look at the beast up close and experience something that many cryptid hunters may never experience. The town of Margate was formed in 1919, just 3 years before the appearance of the Margate monster, when Hugh Balance bought a farm that occupied the area. He bought the farm because of the beautiful scenery that surrounded it. However, soon after, he realized that farming wasn't a viable option on the land. He then changed his plans. Instead of farming the land, he decided to sell it as part of a seaside resort. Unfortunately, this plan also failed, at least at first. Because Margate was such an isolated location, it was hard to get to. This meant that sales were initially low. However, the isolation of Margate was about to end, and it all started with the discovery of the Margate monster. The day that Hugh Balance saw the epic battle that occurred in the ocean was also the day that the tides pushed the Margate monster up to the shore, taking the town from a fairly unknown location to a popular tourist attraction. Despite being so large and fighting as hard as it could, it turned out that the Margate monster actually lost its battle with the whales. Its carcass washed up on shore that night. While this may have seemed like the perfect opportunity for the locals to properly identify the creature, what they saw actually left them baffled. The monster had a large body as well as a tail that looked similar to the tail of a lobster. The monster also had an appendage on what is assumed to be the front of its body that looked like a trunk. It's because of this that the monster would later be nicknamed Trunko. According to measurements taken by Hugh Balance, Trunko was 47 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 5 feet high. Its trunk was 14 inches in diameter, 5 feet long, and ended in a snout like a pig. Finally, Trunko was covered in a thick white fur that was roughly 8 inches in length. Despite having the exact measurements of Trunko, according to reports, there is no description of what the monster's face looked like, with many sources claiming that it didn't have any distinguishable facial features. It was also reported that Trunko didn't have a neck or fins. For a long time, it had seemed like pictures of Trunko did not exist. That would make sense since the monster washed up on shore in the 1920s, a time when camera technology was rare and sparse. However, recently, it was found that at least one image of the monster was taken. The image, which can be seen on screen, shows a man next to Trunko. The monster looks like a large white blob. Unfortunately, the image doesn't provide us with much detail. As reported, there are no distinguishable features on the monster's face. Trunko laid on the Margate Beach for 10 days. During that time, many people had come to see it. A lot of those people would later attest to its legitimacy. Even though there was a lot of fanfare around the emergence of the creature, it's truly baffling that in the 10 days that it lay on the beach, no scientists or researchers had come to see it. It was truly a missed opportunity, as if the creature had been studied, or at least had samples taken from it, we may have had a much clearer idea of what it really was. After its 10-day stay on the coast, the tide came in once again, just like it pushed Tranco onto the shore. This time it took it away. Before I go on, I upload new videos every week, so if you're enjoying this one, please subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload. Decades have passed since the first appearance of Tranco. People are still baffled about what it actually was. The reality of the situation is that legends of sea monsters have existed for as long as people have wanted to explore the ocean. While some of those monsters are clearly fake, others are actually based in facts. However, it's very rare that those monsters make their way onto land. Sailors will give you many accounts of the monsters that they have allegedly encountered in the ocean. However, one famous legend that has made its way all the way around the world is the legend of the Loch Ness Monster. Nessie, as it's called, is a legend that frequents the Loch Ness Lake. Another popular legend is that of the Incanyamba, a giant snake-like monster that frequents many lakes and bodies of water in South Africa. Tranco could be one of these monsters, something unseen that lives within the depths of the ocean. It could also have been a freak of nature, a monster that came from a pairing of two other beasts. Finally, Tranco could have been the last of its kind, surfacing from the dark depths of the ocean to find another animal like it. Unfortunately, all it found was a battle, which it inevitably lost. While we try to figure out exactly what Tranco was, we should also seriously consider the fact that it may have never existed in the first place. At the time that Tranco was discovered, Margate was an isolated and sparse location. Its owner, Hugh Balance, had previously failed in two money-making schemes. He was really lucky that Tranco showed up at the time that it did, which makes me wonder whether he didn't make the entire story up in a desperate bid to save his own financial situation. It is a possibility that Mr. Balance could have made up a legend about a sea monster and got a few people to play along in order to turn Margate into a tourist destination. If that was the case, then his plan worked. Regardless of what you may or may not believe happened, the legend of Tranco is an intriguing one. We don't often come across cryptids in South Africa, and I believe we should enjoy every legend we have. What do you think of this case? Tell me in the comments, and please subscribe for more videos just like this one. Thank you for watching.